Hi everyone, today we're going to discuss another mental model that can be useful for you since mental models are representations about how the reality works. And as much more you grasp, better you will perceive patterns in your life and better so you will predict what could be the potential outcomes of the environment that you are present. And then so I think it's justify you getting dive in on this mental model, what they can provide to us. They are representations that you can input in yourself as beliefs, information that sustains and creates arguments so to you shows certain actions, decisions in comparison with other ones. So ultimately I think mental models helps you with your decision making. And then so as much more you grasp them, better you'll be as a decision maker. That I say that's the most important skill to you to develop, since it's the one that creates the actions that, depending on the environment that you are, determines so the outcomes that you get in your life. So it's what you should focus is getting more information as possible. And as well, some of the other mental models there as well systems to make constant type of interpretations about so the type of problem that you're facing, whatever it is. So a problem that is solved by creating hypotheses and then so put to test, and then this methodology, mental model, is the bulletproof problem solving. You can use other type of mental models as well for solving other type of problems. But then so today we're going to talk economic mental model called the paradox of thrift. So a pattern that we have seen mainly in crisis. And what could be like a statement that I could say that explains this paradox? Why saving more can crash the economy. So you could think that by saving more, the economy is going to sustain, but certain times, by you saving more to kind of be something that if the crisis could happen, so you're kind of more secure since you were saved money. But by doing this action, obviously not yourself, but everyone's thinking the same, like the tragedy of commons, then it creates a whole system that so increases the likelihood of entering in a recession or crisis. But then, what's like the core idea of this? It was popularized by economists, one that's really well known by the people in that area, John Maynard Keynes. And this paradox states that individual efforts to save more during a recession can deepen the economic crisis. While saving is wise for one person, if everyone does it simultaneously, demand collapses, business fail, and employment rises, hurting everyone, including the savers. So, how it works? We have individual rational choice. So, as I say, it's like a paradox. For you individually to do, it's good, but if it's something that's multiplied and applied by everyone, it's bad. So, it's a type of action that if just once, that one takes advantage, but if obviously everyone thinking the same, always trying to optimize the benefits that they got from the environment, obviously depending the action that I take, what does this create is then so whole system gets threatened, their security in terms of not entering in a recession. So during hard times, all cut spending, pay off debt, and save for security. So we have examples. You can sell vacations, eat out less, and hold cash. Everyone does it. In recessions, we got more lean. But what does mean we get more lean? Means that I'm still trying and not wasting money or spending money in some of the things that I've also got as the almost as a habit to do. And what does this create? Why business leave? Business leave because they have to get profit, they have to get this incentive. And so if in moments that we're trying to become more lean, everyone adopts it, what does this create? Certain type of revenues will start not appear since people are not so spending because they as well don't have it. And so if I'm start cutting and everyone start cutting, some businesses they obviously will collapse because doesn't exist money for everyone business so to coexist and remain being profit. And then so obviously what does create what does not exist a profit, or even in the happens the complete opposite, we neither are like in zeros, we're negative, we got like we start doing layoffs and these stuffs, and it obviously cuts even so workforce that we have, that I'm paying wages for them, and then the employment rates increases, less people even now, they got money, and so the problem even becomes worse. So then with employment, it's something that obviously brings to us lack of money. So we even become people that even spend less. It's like a loop feedback that happens, making so just like probably in a worst case scenario, just the type of business that are essential, that provides like the primary goods like food, materials, they're like the ones that remain sustainable in that time, and the other ones that are a bit more less type of essential, they can so collapse. And obviously to go back, because we always have recession, but we will always tend to go back, and this, so what is happened, we have to restructure again this type of business coming back again, and this obviously is not efficient, so that's why it's bad this. So, how it works, individual rational choice multiplied by everyone doing it is explained why so it is bad for economy, starts cutting away a lot of the revenue and a lot of the flow of money that exists, that so sustain a lot of the business, unemployment rate so goes high. The collective disaster, so when millions do this, it's basically this, consumer demand, like 70% of the GDP in many economies is the consume. If it decreases, so obviously the economy is not expected so to perform well, and then so business lose revenue, layoffs, unemployment, further spending cuts, vicious type of cycle. The contradiction, so what is prudent for one person becomes catastrophic for the economy. Is the contradiction? As Keynes said, the more virtuous we are, the more we starve the economy. So we have real world examples. It's basically look for all the type of problems that we, little type of crises that we have seen. So you can look for the Great Depression in the 30s, mass panic saving after the 29 crash worsened the inflation and unemployment rate. It kind of hit a peak of 25% in the USA. The Japan lost decade in the 90s, post-bubble austerity and saving leads to decades of stagnation and deflection. COVID-19 lockdown, one more recent. Fear-driven savings spiked household savings rates, 32% in USA, delaying recovery until stimulus checks for spot spending. And it's something that we suffer a lot today in 2025. It's important for people to understand. See how this type of phenomenon, it creates the inflation that people are seeing a lot today. Because what's the problem with the crisis? It doesn't exist money flowing because people don't have it. They're not earning. They got employed. By getting employed, even less people get money, even less will remain sustainable. So the economy is getting stopped because it doesn't exist, the players don't have money so to put some people to work, and so the money to flow for families, for wages, for consuming their goods that they need. This business other that so sells the good as well, invest in other type of people. So it's all cycle that's good, is it can suffer with bottlenecks if some specific type of person so are not having money to spend. But then, so what's like the type of things that people can do? The government exists for that. The government has and can create stimulation, can do things. And what is like a phenomenon that the government does? Print money and becomes easier and reduces the rate of what is the cost, the annual cost of getting a debt. And then so what happens is we have the most moments that we see more printing money, more money getting printed to make a stimulation back so the economy to go up from this recession. And what happens when printing money? When we have more of a thing in a specific environment, that thing becomes less valuable. And that's why a price of something in terms of quantity always increase when money is imprinted, because more people have money, because the money is not lost. Everyone has it. It doesn't mean that if a lot of population is not having it, but the money doesn't disappear. It's certainly with someone. But the economy works and it depends on everyone. That's why this stimulation is to provide that money. But doesn't mean that we're getting money from the system that has disappeared. No, we're putting even more money, and when more something exists, less valuable becomes, and then so the price of goods starts increasing, something that we suffer and normally happens after the crisis tend to happen. So I think it's clear why it matters to understand this mental model of this paradox. Policy dilemma: governments must incentivize spending during recessions, even if it means deficits or creation of inflation. Personal risk: over-saving can backfire if job losses spread to your industry. And modern relevance: so aging population, example in Japan, Europe, saving for retirement could slow long-term growth. So solutions without making it worse. We have to still rely on government stimulus, so direct cash transfers like the COVID checks to boost demand without personal debt. Public investment, spend on infrastructure, green energy, or education to create jobs and future growth. So in that times, it's probably in that times that's better. Like if you want to follow certain specific pathway for your future, it's like one of the best moments. So to kind of have more influence, to amplify your influence, and then so public investment. That's so depending of the government can so put their ideologies to work. Behavioral nudges, tax incentives for spending, so example temporary VAT cuts or investing in productive assets, and a global type of coordination like avoid austerity wars where all nations cut spending at once. Example, we have the post 2008 Eurozone crisis. So I think this was the matter of this video. I hope this makes you gain more insights. And without much more to say, thank you. Don't forget to subscribe if you have liked enough as well. So subscribe with a like and see other videos that may trigger your interest. So without much more to say, thank you and see you in the next one.